And we even have some which is much faster than the quick march. Those ones are normally used within our training institution. I believe we just start slowly and we warm up to the quick march. So there's no specific time to say this is the time for you to do slow march and that time you do quick march. On every parade, we try to display both, that we can walk slowly, we can walk majestically, and we can also walk very quickly when the need arises. So every parade, we try to have these two, slow and a quick time. And so now the contingent are first marching onto the stadium, after which only the Ghana Armed Forces will march past in slow time, and then the others will join in the quick time. And that's a color party in our shot a while ago. And colors are very, very important in the military. Colors have a long-standing history where men tied either their cloth or a piece of material on a pole to depict their location. And as militaries were formed, colors started evolving. And so on the battlefield, you always had your colors at a particular location, such that in the noise of the battle, it is raised aloft so that wherever you are, you can see it. Even as you fight, you make the effort to get to where your colors are. And once the colors were taken over by the enemy, you lost the battle and you became prisoners of war or slaves. And so colors have been protected since time immemorial. And that's a parade commander.
Right, so now let's listen to the parade commander.
Captain Edu Jemfi. It is only the armed forces that will march past in slow time, and when they are done, the other security services will join them to march past in quick time. That's the Ghana Air Force. And the gentleman on the horse in the white is the parade adjutant, Lieutenant Commander Jabbar Bentel. And the lead officer is the parade commander, Group Captain Edu Jemfi. And that was compliment paid to Mr. President. And anytime the parade is marching and gets to the days, Mr. President is expected to stand and take all the compliments before he takes his seat.
And Sergeant Soa Benjamin. Number 4 escort contingent is the Navy female contingent, commanded by Naval Lieutenant Selina Bia. The supernumeraries are Sub Lieutenant Jennifer Abwaje and Sub Lieutenant Christabel Enima Echampon. The contingent sergeant major is Petty Officer Class 2 Aliga Nokbe Regina. The number 5 contingent is an Air Force male contingent, commanded by Flight Lieutenant Emmanuel Kelly. The supernumeraries are Flying Officer Richmond Abutiate and Flying Officer Anderson Don Komangma. The contingent's non-commissioned officer supernumerary is Warrant Officer Class 2 Kunuma Raymond. The number 6 escort contingent is the Ghana Air Force female contingent, commanded by Flight Lieutenant Precious Say. Her supernumeraries are Flying Officer Benedict Anna Achair Boy and Flying Officer Hamdallah Al-Hassan. The non-commissioned officer supernumerary is Flight Sergeant Asad Reza.
Set! Left! Wheel! Left!
Following the said contingent is the Parade Second in Command, Lieutenant Colonel Kwesi Ware Pepra. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Ghana Armed Forces contingents and the contingents from the other security services will march past in quick time. Distinguished guests, approaching the dais now is the number 1 contingent, the Army Male Contingent from the Southern Command of the Ghana Army. The motto of the command is Kulum Shiri, ready and willing. Kulum Shiri, ready to fight. Kulum Shiri, shield the nation. Number 2 contingent is the Army All-Female Contingent, drawn from the Support Services Brigade Group. Their motto is press on, and the response is regardless. The number 3 contingent is the Ghana Navy Male Contingent, drawn from the Western Naval Command in 2nd D. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, may I request all to rise anytime the colors move past your location. An important feature of every military parade is the custom of carrying colors. And today we have 4 colors on parade: the Ghana National Color, the Ghana Army Color, the Ghana Navy Ensign, and the Ghana Air Force Color. The number 4 contingent is a Navy all-female contingent drawn from the Eastern Naval Command in Tema. Number 5 contingent is an Air Force male contingent drawn from the Air Force Base Accra, Air Force Base Takrade, Air Force Base Tamale, and the Air Force Headquarters in Accra. The number 6 escort contingent is the Ghana Air Force female contingent. Personnel are drawn from the Air Force Base Accra, Air Force Base Takrade, Air Force Base Tamale, and the Air Force Headquarters in Accra. The next 4 contingents are drawn from the Ghana Police Service. Number 7 contingent is commanded by Deputy Superintendent of Police, Kodo Kofi Roberts. The supernumerary is Assistant Superintendent of Police, Stephen Kobna Abravi, and ASP Richard Nate. The contingent Sergeant Major is General Sergeant Ebenezer Tete. The number 8 contingent is commanded by DSP Mary Esikumsin, with ASP Sunrise Adika and ASP Rose Ajo Aliga as supernumeraries. The contingent Sergeant Major is Policewoman Sergeant Ernestina Amponsan. The 9th contingent of the Ghana Police is commanded by DSP Baba Francis Kofi. The supernumeraries are ASP Roxy Jesse and ASP Kwame Teku. The contingent Sergeant Major is General Sergeant Ankuma Prince. The 10th contingent is the last of the police contingent and is commanded by DSP Theodora Intiriwa. The supernumeraries are ASP Estanate and ASP Opon Asante Doris. The contingent Sergeant Major is Policewoman Sergeant Sheila Eje. The next 2 contingents are made up of personnel from the Ghana Prison Service. The 11th contingent is commanded by Deputy Superintendent of Prisons, Houston Nana Ado. The supernumeraries are Assistant Superintendent of Prisons, Andy Mreku Asante, and ASP Roger Esiedu. The contingent Sergeant Major is Sergeant David John. The 12th contingent is the Prisons Female Contingent, commanded by DSP Vera Jekyll. The supernumeraries are ASP Wilhelmina Tego and ASP Karen Obey. The contingent Sergeant Major is Sergeant Emilia Echampo. Contingents 13 and 14 are made up by fire officers. The male contingent is commanded by Assistant Divisional Officer Grade 2 Wilfred Odumnya. The supernumeraries are ADO Grade 2 Ado Opoku Bernard and ADO Grade 2 Enoch Adonu. The contingent Sergeant Major is Assistant Station Officer Anan Ni Otu Solomon. The female contingent is commanded by ADO Grade 2 Abdul Fanta. The supernumeraries are ADO Grade 2 Ajua Chumesiwa Hughes. ADO Grade 2 Jechiri Paulina. The contingent Sergeant Major is Assistant Group Officer Apusasa Irene. The next contingents are from the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Assistant Revenue Officer Eugene Minka Asenso is the contingent commander. The supernumeraries are ARO Edwin Nipe Tete and ARO Dixon Bano Kodria. Contingent Sergeant Major is Junior Revenue Assistant Grade 1 Eugene Echampo. The female contingent is commanded by ARO AC Boche. Her supernumeries are ARO Patricia Ahonu and ARO Athia Kesewa. Contingent Sergeant Major is Junior Revenue Assistant Grade 1 Emilia Kosua. The next contingents are drawn from the Ghana Immigration Service. The male contingent is commanded by Deputy Superintendent of Immigration Kennedy Tingza. The supernumeraries are Assistant Superintendent of Immigration Al-Hassan Rashid and ASI Isaka Ibrahim. Contingent Sergeant Major is Inspector AJ David. The female contingent is commanded by DSI Sandro Nana Esi. The supernumeraries are ASI Jato Esther and ASI Frederica Holman. Contingent Sergeant Major is Assistant Inspector Evelyn Ampa. The last two contingents are from the National Ambulance Service. The male contingent is commanded by Advanced Emergency Medical Technician Chumesi Alexander. The supernumeraries are Principal Emergency Medical Technician Owusu Oscar and Principal Emergency Medical Technician Frimpong Reginald. Contingent Sergeant Major is Senior Emergency Medical Technician Abubakari Abdul. The female contingent is commanded by EMT Al-Hassan Nadia. Supernumeraries are PMT Karim Latifa and PMT Sewa Alice. The contingent sergeant major is CMT Boatin Adwa Jumo.
And Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we shall have a choral performance by the SDA Senior High School Bekwai.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, I want you to watch this splendid display by the contingent King. The contingents have used their rifles to write our gains. And indeed, the theme for today's 63rd Independence Parade is consolidating our gains. The theme celebrates the successes struck by the nation after 63 years of independence. It also takes a retrospective look at her challenges within the context of Ghana's development agenda over the years. Ghana will continue to become the beacon of hope while we remain peaceful and also protecting her enviable record of being one of the most peaceful countries in Africa.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we shall now rise as the choir sings the anniversary anthem. And the choir to perform that is SDA Senior High School, the choir. Shall we please rise? As we sing the anniversary anthem, Maomayu Ehiao.
Together we shall build divided people. We are marching on in unity. We are marching on to victory. Together we shall build divided people. We are marching on in unity. We are marching on to victory. Together we shall build divided people.
Please wave your Ghana flags.
Nebe ye jo
Thank you very much, SDA Senior High School. Shall we please be seated? And the choral trainers were Nana Ado Krantin Amua, Pastor Uriah Osei Mensa, and Esio Nkwabin David. This was done under the coordination of Mr. Opoku Ajiman, the Ashanti Regional Cultural Coordinator, and Mr. Anania Fuakwa, the headmaster of the school. Thank you so much, SDA Senior High School, Bekwai.
Distinguished guests, next we shall witness a display of some equipments by the Ghana Armed Forces, the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana National Fire Service, and the National Ambulance Service.
Equipments by the Ghana Armed Forces and other security agencies. You tell us, so the equipment display, we also have the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana National Fire Service, and the Ghana National Ambulance Service all coming together to display their equipment. Of course, we know that in recent times, the Ghana Ambulance Service was given over 300 ambulances. I'm sure they'll be displaying some of them, but what else are we looking forward to seeing, and in what order is it going to take place?
The first to display the equipment will be coming from the 64 Regiment, and they will be coming with the quad bikes and snipers, and that team is led by Captain Anwar Sadat Adams. And then after that we'll have the Hunter vehicles, and these vehicles also operate in very rugged situations and defies all difficult and rough terrain. Then following the Hunter vehicles, we'll have the anti-aircraft guns and multi-rocket launchers. After which the signal will come. The signal is a radio control improvised explosive device jammer on their vehicle. So it's a host of them. So I'd rather we look at it and enjoy it.
I asked you to explain because usually the security agencies keep information to themselves and tell you that for security reasons. Why is it that the security agencies do not mind displaying what they have to the rest of the public, when indeed they have been telling us that we don't tell you everything in security? Some of the things they keep to themselves.
Exactly. And what we are displaying is not everything. We are displaying the ones we can easily display without any challenges. So these vehicles, I'm sure you see them in town from time to time. So these are not things that the general public does not have to know. So we know what to bring out and what to keep in. So these ones, it's just for you to know that these are some of the equipment we work with, and they do not really have any challenge. They do not have any challenge.
And what sort of impact do you hope to make on the public when you come out to display some of these things to them?
Yeah, okay. Some of this equipment can operate in very rugged terrain. So somebody will ask you, something has happened overseas. How do you get there? If we go with an aircraft, eventually we'll have to get down into a vehicle. So some of these vehicles are to tell you the environment in which they operate, and to assure you that irrespective of where you are located, we have a variety of vehicles that can reach your location. We also have different weapons for different purposes, which I will not explain anyway. So that is basically just to give you that assurance that we are there to ensure our total safety and security.
Ghana Armed Forces, the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana Fire Service, the Ambulance Service of Ghana, and other security agencies will all in a very short while display to the President some of the equipment they have. And by displaying to the President, of course, by extension, they would be displaying to the rest of us here in the country, just to reassure us that they are up to the task, they are alive and awake, and anytime they are called upon to protect us, they will be there to do so on our behalf.
The leading vehicles are the Cobra 1 Recce and Surveillance vehicles. They have adopted the Diamond formation. They are equipped with gunshot detection system designed to detect, locate, and provide feedback on hostile fire.
like Commander Angie was saying, and we have no fears.
The troop one officer is one officer plus two, Kutu, Victor. The next vehicle is a Cobra 2 armored personnel carrier. They have adopted the box formation. They are also used to support assault troops in conducting special operations such as raid and counter-terrorism. They are commanded by Second Lieutenant Stephen Latin. The troop one officer is one officer plus one to receive handshot. At the rear of their formation is the Raptor combat vehicle. They are equipped with a 90mm quick firing gun. They have also adopted the Line 1 formation. They are under the command of Second Lieutenant Jonah Frepa. That troop one officer is one officer plus one anchor.
So that's a display of equipment by the Ghana Armed Forces, the Ghana Police Service, and also the Ghana Ambulance Service, the Ghana Fire Service, and all the other security agencies. Commander, you are the military officer here with us. You may want to explain to us what we are seeing for purposes of educating our viewers.
Okay, so the shot currently in our view is from the 66 artillery. But from this angle, the four vehicles in front are from the Armor Regiment, the 153 Armor Regiment in Accra. Those are the four vehicles we are seeing. And then directly behind them, we have the 66 Artillery Regiment. They perform different duties, but I'm not sure I would want to go into the nitty-gritty of their roles.
Yes, we do understand that, but so the president has been on his feet most part of the day since he arrived here, and he's still doing so. Remember that this is the 63rd Independence Anniversary Parade, but it is the first time it has been brought, the national celebration has been brought to the Ashanti region, and specifically to the capital, Kumasi. And it's the second time ever in the history of the Republic of Ghana for the event to have been moved outside of the capital, Accra. The first time was in Tamale, the northern regional capital. Here we see a display of some military equipment. Indeed, this is obviously from the Navy. This is the Ghana Navy. I know this too.
Yes, so that was the Ghana Navy, and that's the port security patrol boats. And these boats are rigid-hulled, inflatable boats used by the Navy for operations at sea and for diving operations.
Definitely, the Ghana Navy could not have brought its ships here, and so you brought a boat to show to Ghanaians.
Yes.
But there's a lot more that the Ghana Navy can boast of than what is being displayed here.
Yes, and that is the police now. Those riders are from the police dispatch. No, this is from the Ghana Police Service.
The Ghana Police
Yes,
Service
this is from the Ghana Police Service.
are currently displaying, and these are the dispatch riders in front of the other vehicles, and the dispatch riders, as the name suggests, dispatch officials in a very quick manner, where when officials need the way to be cleared for them in order to attend to events and emergencies in good time. Not just officials, but in emergency situations, these are the men who make the way clear for the experts to be able to arrive there on time.
And these are some of the riot control vehicles by the Ghana Police.
Ghana Police Service displaying the equipment to the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. And there we have the Ghana Fire Service. The Fire Service were also restocked not too long ago. They have still been appealing for more. Just like all of the security agencies, including the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force as well, you've been calling for more equipment to stock your what you already have, haven't you?
Also, from the Ghana National Fire Service, you see the ambulances. Not too long ago, Abdul, the ambulances became a subject of a national conversation.
Of course, the ambulances were a source of national conversation, especially when many Ghanaians could not. Yeah, and that is the physical trainers once again.
Yes, physical training instructors from the Ghana Armed Forces.
We earlier saw them display on the field, and now they are displaying some of their equipment. This looks more like a mobile gym, if you ask me.
It's amazing to see a human being just rotating with that vehicle continuously. And this is going to go on throughout. Wonderful.
Please don't try this at home.
Not at all. Not with your friends or your brothers and sisters.
Logs. Those doing the sit-ups. Those
Right.
yeah. You see, they are carrying logs.
They're carrying locks.
Yes.
On a moving vehicle.
Yes. If when you sit and you want to do normal sit-ups, it's difficult. And you are carrying logs on the move. Okay, so. Yes, and that is what I'm pressing.
This is really a display of physical fortitude, not just mental fortitude.
The 63rd Independence Anniversary Parade here at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, and the scenes here, those that cannot be brought to you on camera, are even more exciting than the ones you see on camera, because the activities taking place outside of the premises of the stadium. It's amazing. We'll be bringing you that once the official ceremony is over, and GBC News will bring you all the scenes that could not be brought to you here. So you stick with GBC as we bring you even the minutest detail of the event here this afternoon. It started in the morning at about 9:30 when the president arrived, and so far it has been exciting. We've seen school children, students, we've seen teachers participate in this, but beyond that, we've seen different cultural groups also represent here. We've seen the different regions, more especially the new regions that were created a little over a year ago. They all came to Kumasi to showcase what it is that their regions have to offer to the rest of Ghana. So we saw the Bono region, the Bono East region, we saw the Savannah region as well as the Northeast region. They each had representation here. It's been an exciting scene. And then of course the security agencies have been phenomenal so far today, and currently we're seeing the display of equipment.
Yes, personnel have gone to pick their weapons. You remember they displayed our gains.
Yes.
They've gone to pick their weapons, and any moment from now they will advance in review order, simply meaning they will get closer to Mr. President to listen to his speech.
What is this right now is that because of the parade.
Yes, that is it. That's the review order.
Another one. And whenever things like this happen, without prompting, you see the crowd go gay with happiness, and the claps, without prompting.
Exactly.
And that's what we just saw there. So this is the marching in review order.
Yes,
it's been
this
done,
advancing in review order.
So they get closer to the commander-in-chief.
Yeah, so now they are paying compliments. And as they are having as they present arms, we are having the 21 gun salute. It's a kind of compliment. It's a kind of literally saying greeting
Okay.
to the president.
Let's hear the 21 gun salute.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't expect. We haven't seen this. We've seen after the 21 gun salute, then the 3 choppers just flew past. This again talks about precision, timing, and then there's nothing like Ghanaman time. Time is time, and we have just been shown, because if they had missed it by even a second, the beauty would have vanished.
So we watched 3 things together. They had presented arms whilst we're playing the national anthem. We had the 21 gun salute, and simultaneously we had the aircraft flying past.
And all this happened almost at the same time.
Yes,
And so timing is of the essence.
exactly. And rehearsal to be sure that everything is on point.
And that means that in the life of the ordinary man, practice shouldn't be taken for granted.
And timing, the Ghana time is high time we got over it and did things on
Parade
time.
Commander Edu Jemfi now. Parade Commander Edu Jemfi has been speaking with the president. The parade commander approached the president a while ago, said a few words. I'm sure it's retained.
Right!
Okay.
Stand! East! Stand easy.
May I respectfully invite the special guest of honor for this year's independence anniversary, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, His Excellency, Honorable Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, to give his address.
Who is the special guest of honor, has been invited to give his address, and he has started.
Ranka Akufo-Addo and Mrs. Rebecca Addo, Akufo-Addo. Your Excellencies, Alhaji Dr. Mahadu Bawumia, Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, and Mrs. Hajia Samira Bawumia, Your Royal Majesty, Otumfo Osei Tutu II, and Lady Sophia, Lady Julia, the Speaker of the Parliament, the Right Honorable Professor Aaron Mike Kwaye, and his spouse, Mrs. Alberta Okoye, His Lordship, the Chief Justice of Ghana, Chairman and members of the Council of State, His Excellency Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings and Nana Konadu Agemang Rawlings, His Excellency John Agekum Kufo, His Excellency John Amani Mahama, the Chief of Staff, my Lord, government officials, Honorable Minister of State, Chiefs and Queen Mothers, distinguished invited guests, friends of the media, ladies and gentlemen, It gives me great pleasure to bring to you, the government and people of the Republic of Ghana, the best wishes of the government and people of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and to join with you here in Kumasi to celebrate the 6th independence of the Republic of Ghana. I am particularly pleased to be here in Ghana following the success of the year of return in 2019, through which Ghana extended a hand of welcome to all descendants of Africans who were captured and transported to the Americas beginning in 1619 with the arrival of the first enslaved Africans in Jamestown, Virginia, in what would become the United States of America. We in Trinidad and Tobago recognize our ancestral and historical ties to Ghana and other countries of the African continent. The archival records of Trinidad and Tobago show that in 1813, the census of Trinidad, in which enslaved Africans on the island were registered by region of origin and ethnicity, there were persons in Trinidad of ethnic groups drawn from the land of West Africa, from the modern countries of Senegal in the north to Angola in the south, including the Fanti and Akwan ethnic groups from the then Gold Coast. Trinidad and Tobago has therefore always had an African identity. It should be no surprise then that nationals of Trinidad and Tobago had a significant role to play in the 20th century in the development of Pan-African thought and action, starting from the organization of the first Pan-African Conference in London in July 1900 by Henry Sylvester Williams, the Trinidadian barrister, and continuing through the seminal roles played by C.L.R. James and George Padmore in the development of Pan-Africanism. The roles played by C.L.R. James and George Padmore in the development of the political philosophy of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the first Prime Minister and President of Ghana, is well documented, with Padmore, a renowned Pan-Africanist, friend and advisor of Dr. Nkrumah. He provided able counsel and support for the establishment of an independent Ghana. It is reported that at the opening of the George Padmore Research Library on African Affairs in Accra on the 30th of June 1961, President Nkrumah ranked Padmore as one of the greatest architects of the African liberation movement dedicated to African union and unity. The attainment of your independence in 1957 under the leadership of Dr. Nkrumah was therefore cause for celebration, not only in Ghana, but also among the nations of the world, which at that time were still struggling to free themselves from colonial rule. Through the formal establishment of relations between the independent countries of Trinidad and Tobago and Ghana, that will take place for 10 years later in 1967, the success of Ghana's independence struggle provided an example of what was possible to those colonies yet to follow in Ghana's footsteps. This close relationship put forward by the United Kingdom and the United States was a resolution which was sponsored by the UK and seconded by Ghana when Trinidad and Tobago was admitted to the United Nations. Over the 53 years of diplomatic relations between our countries, we have pursued shared interests in our bilateral relations and in regional and international fora including the African, Caribbean, and Pacific group of states. I wish to draw to your attention specifically the two areas of cooperation, agriculture and energy, which build on a history of collaboration between our two countries. The importance of agriculture in the development of a country cannot be overstated, as it provides the most basic and essential form of security for society. This food security also has the potential to translate into income security, as it provides means of sustenance and income for many of our people. Both Trinidad and Tobago and Ghana are producers of cocoa, and cooperation in this area between our countries dates back to our colonial past. The Cocoa Research Unit and the scheme of 1930 at the Imperial College of Tropical Agriculture at St. Augustine in Trinidad and Tobago was financed jointly by several governments, including the government of Ghana. Ghana hosted the first roundtable on sustainable cocoa economy in October 2007, followed by Trinidad and Tobago in March 2009. Both our countries are also states parties to the International Cocoa Agreement of 2001. Trinidad and Tobago has an interest in furthering collaboration with Ghana in developing our cocoa sectors through establishing linkages between our respective cocoa management authorities. Exchanges in expertise and technology, sharing of genetic material, training, joint venture projects, cocoa tourism, and the processing of cocoa into finished products along the cocoa value chain are all matters of interest between our both countries. With respect to energy, Trinidad and Tobago has been involved in the petroleum sector for over 100 years, undertaking considerable oil and gas exploration on land and shallow water. As the largest oil and natural gas producer in the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago's hydrocarbon sector moved from an oil one to mostly natural gas based in the early 1990s. In January 2007, the then Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the late Patrick Manning, announced the establishment of an African Energy Initiative at the 8th Ordinary Session of the African Union in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. The objectives of this initiative for Trinidad and Tobago were to provide assistance to the countries of West, Central, and South Africa in developing their energy sectors, to further the economic development and wealth of the selected states of the African Union by providing free technical expertise in an advisory capacity to assist them in monetizing their petroleum and natural gas resources. Also to assist Africa's achievement of the United Nations Millennium Development Goals. And thirdly, to enhance opportunities for South-South cooperation with selected states of the African Union. Additionally, there have been discussions between the Takoradi Technical University of Ghana and the University of Trinidad and Tobago, UTT, focused on exploring between the two universities the development of human resources and technical capabilities for Ghana's oil and gas industry. Trinidad and Tobago is ready and willing to assist in the development of this new area of economic activity in Ghana, and you will find in Trinidad and Tobago a ready partner through energy skills training and linkages between our tertiary institutions. These two areas, energy and agriculture, build on a history of collaboration between our two countries. It is for this reason that Trinidad and Tobago would wish to enter into arrangements with Ghana as soon as possible for the establishment of air services and transportation between our two countries. This will promote the movement of people and goods and improve the trade prospect between our countries. As I close, I recall that on the last occasion I had the privilege to visit Ghana in 2016. I took the opportunity to visit Elmina Castle, which was used as a facility for the holding and shipping of slaves from Africa to the Americas. This movement of persons from Africa into the Americas brought with it a deep reservoir of culture and traditions, which continue to enrich and sustain us for centuries after our arrival in that part of the world. Trinidad and Tobago, as the first country in the world to declare a national holiday to commemorate the abolition of slavery, pays homage to the contribution, resilience of those persons in its annual Emancipation Day celebration, which have been attended by former presidents of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Flight Lieutenant Jerry Rawlings and His Excellency John Agepum Kufuor. In the same way that Ghana has been present in Trinidad and Tobago as we celebrate our Emancipation Day, I am happy to return to Africa and to Ghana to celebrate your Independence Day with you. As we in Trinidad and Tobago celebrate with you today the 63rd Independence Day of the Republic of Ghana, I hold out to you the best wishes of the government and people of Trinidad and Tobago for peace, progress and prosperity of the government and people of the Republic of Ghana. Happy independence to the people of Ghana from the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We shall have a poetry recital and drum appellation by the Garrison Basil School.
And Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the school to perform the drum appellation and poetry recital is Garrison Basil School from 4 Garrison Education Center, 4BN in the Kumasi Metropolis. The appellation was written by the head teacher, Mr. Isaac Osei-Kofo, and this is done to usher in very important personalities to rise and address their people. In this case, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is respectfully invited to step forward to deliver his independence address to the nation.
Ghana ene osani kokro be pia ma Ghana my pudio no me nyina bochi abepie santima mu onyankopon Allah nyankopa se chi adama enu ama mfashe kesie edim mpenye ewo omayi mu na ama atwehye he nyina se obebo wanya bedu nufutabra ba Ghana ma nyina no manoi onyame anoa ama ben ahia pihue ye bo mrane aneso na efataw Onua na ho brasere na butirenti wagina nkonson atutu omprenu ama atuduro sai na ne prensa so na awoto no ekumado ma bebre emodo ma pempem so e ma wona ho papatu da na ho wono no wo bemem wo yo chiman de sekan etina kan yesunsun kuta te se kuta de ne wonyire wonsem na sunfiri wonsada wa wotase obuoni ni die do boa te sese bi koko kracha wo boa ne krata no akọja base bo wa kwa foda ase wa onyame adumunim denti wasuamra guwidiem amanne emrani fonkare hunu wa o chaw prise egu kraku batia se kase agemrani apapa mu a yenya bio efise o fanye dade o fanye dua o fanye nsuo o fanye honhom nipa ne sebi abode epinso usinsuo mansana mahamo itida wo odi chenya nsambonso amampani fufuro suro wo omuhunu se wo popoya okote omampani sujarampowe Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Your Excellency, I don't want to state, one factory. I don't want village, one dam. I don't want constituency, one ambulance, papi. I'm a penny, a teacher for, a nurse for, a new man who do, a kunia knitting in our down war. Ukra Mudia Muti Sabracosia. What Tima to send out for passage. Free SHS, papa, money yo. Nana money yo, what it? And I'm money yo. If it's a woman, Yanka, yes, and fata. Yanga Sabita fracture, a nim near a cheer. Nanny does so be a free woman. Aquachan to say, Nanka, yes, a day, near Contra so Sukuni Mubi. And I was the age now, honey, and I was you, and I was the uncle to what near the other was say. What's your breath for? What my breath for? Go much you want. I could not fall in a cunu, Nasana, or my could not fall in Sako, Mano dear, and on the Asian is the moon, your what say. Nana Bata has a what you wish, yeah, and Uncle do Beshakro, or true Stepan, yeah, and Uncle but true Stepa what say. Santimura Santimagia continuing, or 2 4 say to 2 or 2 million. Your board, your boy, Moise. Nana, get 2 Pobian what say, Madame Moise. C'est un comprendre Sumba oh, repent from my do side. Young no one now. My home in the so and then hey, you are yeah. Wagan and feared you, see, men suffer who did. And then go at see. Bro.
And the pupils were taken through rehearsals by Mr. Dapa Moses, Mr. Antonio Poku, and Mr. Ochu Eric, all teachers of Garrison Basic Schools. And this was done under careful supervision of Mrs. Joyce Afrenuama, Director for Cultural Education Programs, Ghana Education Service. May I respectfully invite the President to deliver his 63rd Independence Anniversary speech. Mr. President.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the climax of today's Independence Anniversary Parade, which is the anniversary speech by the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. With a round of applause, join me welcome Mr. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for the 63rd Independence Anniversary speech. Mr. President.
Eminent clergy, Your Excellency, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, our esteemed guest of honor and your spouse, First Lady, Vice President and Second Lady, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Chief Justice and spouse, Chairperson and members of the Council of State, Your Excellency, the Second President of the Fourth Republic, former Second Lady, Otumfuo Asantehene, dignitaries of the Ghanaian and Trinidadian states, the Chief of Defense Staff of the Ghana Armed Forces, the Inspector General of the Police Force, commanders, officers, men, women of the security services, Nananum and traditional rulers, members of the diplomatic corps, fellow Ghanaians, ladies and gentlemen. It was 63 years ago today that our forefathers' dream of independence for our nation became a reality. Ghana became an independent nation and gained her freedom from the colonial power, Britain. The celebrated calypso singer of the time, Lord Kitchener, put it into what became a famous hit. This day will never be forgotten, the 6th of March, 1957, when the Gold Coast successfully got their independence officially. Ghana is the name. Ghana we wish to proclaim. We will be jolly, merry and gay the 6th of March, Independence Day. Today, as we mark this sacred day on our calendar, it is worth noting that the great majority of our population was born after 6th March 1957. They identified that day only through old black and white newsreels, and it might be difficult for them to imagine the sheer euphoria and magic of that day. Last year, for the first time, we took the official celebrations out of the national capital city of Accra to Tamale, capital of the northern region, and a huge success it was. This year, we are gathered here in Kumasi, capital of the Ashanti region, as the focal point of the official celebrations. The happiness of the day is not meant to be limited to the place of the official celebrations. This is a day that should be celebrated by all around the country and by all Ghanaians and friends of Ghana, wherever they are. Indeed, on that day of 6th March 1957, the celebrations were not limited to the new country, Ghana, or to Ghanaians alone. The rest of the world joined to celebrate with us. We were the trailblazers for the independence movement of the continent. We held out hope for restored dignity to the black race around the world. African Americans and the peoples of the Caribbean especially walked tall and cheered us on. It was not accidental that the Trinidadian, Lord Kitchener, composed the defining song of the event. We're carrying on that relationship, born 63 years ago, by having as our esteemed guest of honor at these celebrations the Prime Minister of the Government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, MP, one of the great figures of modern Caribbean politics, who has given us such a superb speech of commendation and encouragement. Prime Minister and Mrs. Sharon Clark Rowley and members of the Trinidadian delegation, we wish you a warm Ghanaian welcome, a big Akwaba, on your second visit to our country. And we know that you are at home and among your own in your beautiful kente cloths. It is a matter of great joy to us that last year we had such enthusiastic support for the year of return from the Caribbean and the Americas. The Prime Minister of Barbados, the Admirable Honorable Mia Motley QC MP, was also with us last year, and she accompanied me to Yendi to witness the historic performance of the age-old Damba Festival by a new Yana, the first in many, many years, to mark the end of decades of hostility in one of the ancient kingdoms of our land. Prime Minister, we are here in Kumasi in the presence of the Asantehene, scion of the famous Osei Poku Oyoko royal dynasty, Otumfuo Osei Tutu II. There is one thing that any visitor here can be certain of. It is the cultural capital of our country. Kumasi welcomes people from all parts and makes them feel like they belong. It was also the capital of one of the greatest kingdoms of pre-colonial Africa, Asante, whose luster was comparable to that of the kingdoms of Benin, Oyo, Mali, Songhai, Congo, Mutapa, and Zulu. So we are indeed in historic premises and are grateful for the attendance of the mighty Asantehene and the other noble traditional rulers. Fellow Ghanaians, we remember today as we should those whose vision inspired the independence movement. We pay homage today as we should to those who dare to dream of this kaleidoscope nation made up of different peoples. And we give praise as we should to those who made huge sacrifices to make possible March 6, 1957. To the members of the Aborigines Rights Protection Society, who protected our lands from the grasp of the greedy imperialists. The members of the United Gold Coast Convention, who first sounded the clarion call for freedom. The members of the Convention People's Party, who brought the battle for freedom to a successful conclusion. And all those who took the fight to the colonialists. We recall with pride and salute the memories of Yasantua, Jacob Say, John Mensah Saba, Joseph Casey Hayford, George Moore, R.S. Wood, Thomas Hutton Mills, Kwabna Sechi, James Kwejie Agri, Ni Kwabna Boni III, Ephraim Amu, George Alfred Grant, Joseph Wachi Dankwa, Francis Awono Williams, R.S. Blake, J.W. DeGraff Johnson, Emmanuel Obecha Bilanti, Edward Akufo-Addo, William Oforiatta, Ebenezer Akwaje, Kwame Nkrumah, Kwabna Kese, V.B. Annan, Jimmy Kwestas, Komla Agbeli Bedema, Kojobo Tsio, Kofi Bakon, Krobo Edusei, Nancy Tibo, Mumuni Bawumia, S.D. Domo, Kofi Abrefa Busia, Joe Apia, Victor Owusu, R.R. Amponsam, Bafo Seakoto, Modesto Apalu, S.G. Anton, Akua Shoshosho, and Dede Sikishan, and many others. Since we gained our independence, we've had difficulties and stumbled in the search to reach our potential. But Ghana has never lost her position as the inspirational leading light of the African continent. At 63, we know that we have squandered many opportunities that properly utilized would have brought us to the economic breakthrough to which we aspire. We lament, and rightly so, the infrastructure deficits that plague all sectors of our lives, and the considerable number of our people who still live in poverty. But if truth be told, we have solid reason to rejoice and be thankful to the Almighty, for this is a blessed nation. It is a good thing that we are usually so very hard on ourselves, and the critical voices sometimes drown out everything else. For as long as we have not achieved our economic goals, we cannot and should not relax and be complacent. However, we should learn to count our many blessings and not talk ourselves down unnecessarily. It surely must count for something that our nation has been spared the ravages of civil war that have racked some of our neighbors and other nations on the continent. It must count for something that we have been spared the epidemics that have brought havoc to other nations in our neighborhood. It certainly must count for something that we've been able to keep our terrorist activities from our country, and we can take for granted the peace and stability that define Ghana. Our politics might not always be the most edifying, but they are demanding and loud, and all citizens cherish the right to freedom of expression. We are into the 28th year of this Fourth Republic, the longest uninterrupted period of stable constitutional governance in our history. We've had regular, hard-fought elections and peaceful changes of administrations, and managed to avoid any third-term maneuvers. That is something for which we should applaud ourselves. We should never forget the development through the democratic process, the path we have chosen in this Fourth Republic, is not exactly the easiest governance option. Many of the countries that have made miraculous economic transformations did so more often than not through authoritarian regimes. In earlier times, several of the developed economies built their successes on the back of slavery and work practices that would not be tolerated in any democracy today. Some may admire the results of raising down whole villages and new structures appearing in weeks. But we have to ask ourselves how much regimentation needed for such things would be tolerated by the Ghanaian psyche. Or dare I ask, where would we fit in our weekend funerals to be able to put in 7-day weeks? We should be proud of the liberal democratic path we are treading and unite to make it work. We could and should be able to bring out our people out of poverty and into prosperity faster. But let us acknowledge that good things are happening in our country and we are making progress. 19% of our people do not have access to potable water, but 81% of people in Ghana presently have access to safe water. We are making progress. The supply of electricity has reached 85% of the country. We are making progress. No child has died from measles in the past 17 years in Ghana. Fellow Ghanaians, in our country, measles used to be the leading killer of children aged under 5. We are making progress. No longer do mothers have to sell off their most treasured fabrics and jewelry, and fathers go to money lenders to be able to see their children through senior high school. Today, senior high school education is free for every child. We are making progress. There are more children in secondary school now, especially young girls, than we have ever had. We're changing the curricula and focus in education to meet the needs of the modern economy and prepare our young people to compete on the global scale. We are making progress. More and more people are embracing the need to preserve the beauty of our environment and the purity of our waters and oceans. We are making progress. Some 25 years ago, only a few wealthy people carried mobile telephones. It was a status symbol, and it gave them access to opportunities that few could dream of. In the year 2000, there were 90,000 mobile phone subscribers. In 2020, there are 41 million subscriptions. Mobile subscriber penetration is bigger than the population. We are making progress. The digital revolution is changing the face of our society and our country, and soon we will take a deserved place as a modern economy. We are making progress. The creative arts are thriving, and there are exciting things to interest a wide range of people. The fashion scene is vibrant and unearths new talent every day. Take a look around this stadium and feast your eyes on the riot of colors and the wide variety of styles that our kente weavers can conjure. Every day, this ancient, royal, eye-catching, beautiful fabric is reinvented to win over new generations. The kente, of course, has crossed over our boundaries and is no longer exclusively Ghanaian, but the symbol of identity for peoples of African descent everywhere. Our designers, tailors, and dressmakers keep Ghanaian-made clothes in the top range of attractive clothes. Art galleries are alive with established and new painters and sculptors, and there are signs of their innovative works all around us. We have always been known for musical talent, and this generation is keeping up the tradition. Fellow Ghanaians, there's renewed confidence in our foods and a strong belief in the things that define us as Ghanaians. We have always been known for arguments and debates, and in an election year, it is predictable that the decibel level would go up. That is what we're currently experiencing. But as the saying goes, even as the arguments get louder, we keep a keen lookout for each other's eyes. There is an Akan proverb that says, Omeniku, ye kwa, ye kikan wilso, ye ntuasiye. When we fight as members of a community or family, we bite off hair, we do not uproot it. In other words, in our gravest moments of fury, we strive to avoid bloodshed. The consensus is holding for all of us to work towards the prosperous, peaceful, and happy Ghana we want. We all recognize that that the responsibility we carry as the first Saharan colonial country to gain independence is not simply to build a successful country. We owe it to the rest of the continent and the black race to demonstrate that indeed we can build and run a successful, prosperous, and happy country. This is a task we do not shirk and which all Ghanaians accept. Our Pan-African vision remains on course as we continue to be in the front line of the effort to forge a united Africa, and our peers have conferred and honored us with the duty to host the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area. We are making progress. During the course of the year of return, which we marked last year, we were glad to welcome hundreds of thousands of visitors from the African diaspora, and we're hoping that the renewed relationship between Ghanaians and our kith and kin from the Caribbean and the Americas will grow from strength to strength. The initiative of Beyond the Return is the vision of a black world on both sides of the Atlantic, which leverages hard work, enterprise, creativity, and innovation to engage in mutually beneficial trade and investment cooperation that will guarantee the prosperity and dignity of black people the world over. I must say something before I conclude about the subject that currently concerns the whole world, and that is the novel coronavirus outbreak. It is a medical crisis that is bringing in its wake deaths and economic difficulties, and is spreading fear and panic throughout the world. In the early days of the outbreak, I constituted on 7th February a high-powered emergency response team to handle the crisis, which has been monitoring developments and reporting to me on a daily basis. Strict checks at our entry points are being conducted with rigorous screening procedures. Isolation and treatment centers have been designated for potential cases, and a quarantine center has been set up. 5,000 personal protective equipments for health workers have been procured and distributed to all regions and major health facilities, points of entry, teaching hospitals, treatment centers, and selected health facilities. Additional protective health equipment is being procured. Training of health workers in the treatment of the disease is being provided and is ongoing. In the interim, non-essential travel into Ghana is being strongly discouraged from high-risk countries, namely China, Iran, Italy, Japan, and South Korea. We're counting on the experts to do their part to safeguard us. But we all have a responsibility to take measures to help ourselves and each other. The recommendations are for each one of us to practice basic personal hygiene and be extra careful with sanitation. For the time being, as the Ministry of Health has advised, we have to revisit our custom of shaking hands and stop doing so completely. And we must cover our mouths when we cough or sneeze. We should pray, of course, that the Almighty continues to shield us, but it is also the time to pay attention to the health experts and reject all fraudulent claims for cures that will only threaten public health and safety. Please listen to and take seriously the public education messages being put out by the public health authorities. And I urge the churches, mosques, traditional authorities, civil society organizations, and opinion leaders all to join in helping to keep Ghana safe. We appreciate the active collaboration being offered by us by the Global Health Authority, the World Health Organization, and by Friends of Ghana in these trying times. The government, on its part, is determined to do whatever is necessary, including providing the requisite resources to ensure the safety of the population. Fellow Ghanaians, we've been treated to a marvelous performance by school children and men and women from the military and the services. It took hours and weeks of practice to be able to put up such a flawless display, and I wish to congratulate them all. The lessons will not be lost on us. To you, the men and women of the military and the services, who put your lives on the line to keep us and the country safe, I say Ghana is deeply in your debt. To you, the children who have been part of the captivating ceremony, I say very well done, and prepare yourself to carry the torch into a greater and brighter future. I wish all Ghanaians and friends of Ghana across the globe a joyous 63rd Independence Anniversary. And once again, Prime Minister Rowley, thank you, your wife, and your delegation for coming from Trinidad to join us to share our special day. May God bless us all and our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The Forces Sergeant Major Chief Warrant Officer Bakar Ramos is marching forward to lead the contingent to give 3 hearty cheers to the President of the Republic of Ghana and a powerful yell for Mother Ghana.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. May I please have your permission to hail the troops, Mr. President.
Will remove headdress. Remove!
Three hearty cheers to the President of the Republic of Ghana Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. Adopt the posture. Left foot. Pull together. Let's pull together. We shall pull together. Resume the posture. Left foot. Let's go together with one accord.
Ghana is the star of Africa.
Let's go together with one accord.
Ghana is the star of Africa.
Ghana, let's go.
We are the star.
Move it.
We are the star.
Ghana is the star of
Africa.
Ghana for Maniji. Maniaji. Maniaji. Special one for the 241 Assembly, the second. And so by a boarding. And so by a boarding. Was the bracket smart what you want to say? Yes. Nana Santini. Was the bracket smart what you want to say? Yes. Nana Santini. President, over. May I please have your permission to follow, Mr. President? Yes, Mr. President.
Mr. President, prayed over, may I have your permission to march off the colors and the remainder of the parade, Mr. President?
You are humbly requested to rise when the colors are passing your location, and all personnel in uniform are reminded to pay the appropriate compliments.
Sir, march of the colors. Parade. Present. Arms.
Calafate! By the center! Quick march! 10 direction right! Right! Forward!
May we please be seated? Shall we please rise and we'll remain standing for the national anthem?
National salute. Present. Arms. Stand.
We shall please remain standing and stay at our positions as the President and other dignitaries depart before we leave. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to remind all that the Ghana Armed Forces Open Day activities will be held at all garrisons on Saturday, 14th March 2020. The Ghana Armed Forces wishes to invite the general public, and particularly all school children, to be part of this day to get to know and learn more about the Ghana Armed Forces. Permit me to acknowledge the Formation Commander of the Fly Pass, Squadron Leader Dawe, and his crew, Flight Lieutenant Sabuache and Flight Lieutenant Anan, for their splendid performance. If you want to have a feel of more of the Ghana Air Force, take note and visit the Air Force bases in Accra, Tamale, and Tapadi on Saturday, 14th March 2020.
And all GES staff have to take note. Students and GES staff, the Director General and Management of Ghana Education Service take this opportunity to congratulate teachers, students and students for their smart turnout at this year's Independence Parade. It is expected that teachers, pupils and students will take advantage of the weekend to rest and fully refresh themselves to resume academic work on Monday. Please note that Monday, 9th March 2020 is not a holiday. Signed by the Director General, Professor Kwesopo Kwamampa.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Departure formalities begin right away. All drivers of our VVIPs, please bring your cars through where you came. The President of the Republic is to depart first, followed by the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, and then the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana will follow, and then Asantehene Otumfuo Osei Tutu follows.
All school contingents have moved to Media Senior High School. All school contingents, the 13 school contingents have moved to Media Senior High School right now. Thank you.
And as we end this year's 63rd Independence Anniversary celebration, we want to show appreciation to the following companies and organizations that supported our anniversary this year: Guinness Ghana Limited, Star Life, Baltic Mineral Water, the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, Global Media Alliance, Verna Water, MTN, Casapreco Awake Water, Casben, Utek FM, Ash FM, Angel FM, Planting for Food and Jobs, Out Make Sound, Wontumi Radio and TV, as well as the National Youth Authority. Departing now is the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, and First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo.
The Vice President is the next to depart, and then the President, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, our special guest. All drivers of the VVIPs, please follow in that order as you came. All drivers of the VVIPs, please follow in the order you came. DJ Lalani Gocha, Ucha.
Well, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago is about to leave.